Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you tuned in from wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining this USI Tech Google Hangout. For those of you that are here for the first time, we do this live every week, 12 noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. UK, and 9 p.m. in Europe. It's an opportunity for you to really just bring guests along, show them what is going on, and allow us to do the work within the first 15 to 20 minutes. We'll do the presentation and the explanation, and it's a great opportunity for people to come along who have got questions that can openly ask them in front of everybody. So there is nothing to hide here. There's a lot of detail and meat to add to the bone for you, but we do that at the end of this session. What we try and do is keep this short and sweet as we can, but invariably, this is the one opportunity that everybody has each week to really get an understanding of what's going on, to get the updates, for us to tell you a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes. We thoroughly enjoy doing it, but we also appreciate you're limited for time. As always, I am joined by my esteemed colleague, Mr. Jonathan Smith in the UK across the pond. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Lou. Bit colder over here, I think. The weather's turned, so it's always nice where you are. Nice and sunny place. Always good to see you. I feel the warmth from across there. But we've been extremely busy this week. Extremely busy. We'll let the guys know what we've been up to towards the end. I did some very good meetings yesterday. So we'll share with everybody what we're doing over in the UK, and obviously what you're looking to hopefully do very shortly.
Yeah, we'll certainly do that. We'll give them some insight onto what is going on and what's going to be happening both in the UK and the US. Unbelievable week this week. I mean, John's been there because he's been ahead of me some time, and my sponsor, and I always refer to this. Somebody got upset last week, John, when I said, make sure that you go back to the person invited and you are paying them 10% of your business. You make sure they work for it. Somebody didn't like that, put a lovely post on YouTube. Sorry about that, but that's what you're there to do, my friends. So if obviously John looks after me and has ensured I get phenomenal support here, and likewise we pass that down the line.
And trust me, guys, he makes me work for it as well. Trust me.
Do.
And that's what you should be doing with your sponsor. If they're shy of hard work, well, tough.
That seems to be the way. If they're doing the job rightly, they wouldn't be upset by my comments, but we'll come back to that later. I'll get off my soapbox. So what are we going to do for you? Well, first of all, we're going to get you through and rattle through a presentation about USI Tech, their Bitcoin side specifically. We do touch on Forex, and please remember that is there because that is the company's core product. But what's got the world, and I mean the world, excited? I've got Nigeria and Spain and Argentina and the US and Canada and Venezuela, Colombia, Switzerland, just to name a few. I can't remember. And this is daily. I've got calls back to back to back, and most of us are no different. How are we doing that? Well, we've got great tools. We've got websites built for you. We've got traffic that you can send people from to. We dominate the internet, and I'm not going to talk about too much about that today because that's our secret sauce, but we've got it all worked out for you. So please don't go anywhere. It's going to be an interesting ride for 40 minutes. We're going to rattle through what USI are all about. For a change, are going to save John's voice a little bit, and then we're going to tell you what's going on at the moment. A couple of things happening within USI. There's some web maintenance going on. We'll talk to you about some events, big things happening that John's doing in the UK. A number of things pipeline now here for the US. We'll talk about the incentives as we go through this slide now, but most importantly, we want to share with those that are here for the first time what USI Tech is all about, how it can change your life by you deciding what action you want to take, and we'll get straight into it. I'm going to share my screen, and John, I'm sure, will tell me when he can see that, so we know that we are good to go. Let's drop that up.
See that, Lee? So good to go, mate.
All right, thanks, John. Okay. Got to remember whether I'm in PowerPoint or, we're in PowerPoint. So, welcome to USI Tech. This is an opportunity where, as it says on screen, the United Software Intelligence, that's what USI stands for, can transform your life. And I'm going to read the disclaimer once. Proof of payment is no guarantee you will earn the same, but it would be possible to earn this and more with an equal or greater strategy and work ethic. Any earning figures shown that we're going to go through with you today are not a guarantee of income, and the figures that are presented are for illustration purposes only. So here's the agenda. We're going to go through the USI Bitcoin packages. We're going to talk to you about the compensation plan. Those two are completely separate. Let me hasten to add, if you want to come into this, you want to place some money, you want to buy Bitcoin packages, and you want to do that on a passive basis, that is there for you. However, the real growth, rapid growth, comes from you being able to share that with other people. And instead of the company spending millions on global advertising on TV and newspapers, etc., they've decided to put a referral scheme, a networking plan in place that rewards you massively. And let me tell you, it is unbelievable. If you look at the growth of an account that is either doing it passively or by sharing with others, the differences are extraordinary. So we're going to go into that for you. Incentives we're going to talk about, a couple of incentives that the company has running at the moment, and questions and answers right at the end. So please make a note of them. Don't forget them. We will go to Q&A, and we will answer as many questions as we possibly can. So this is all about when vision and perfection come together, great things can happen. And this is a new dimension, a completely fresh approach to direct marketing. So who are USI? Well, if you've not done your own due diligence and done a bit of research, it's very difficult to not come across them at the moment. This is such the storm that is being created globally. They are a technology company that has specialized for many years in the development of automated trading software. In simple terms, in expert advisors or robots that help us trade the currency market. So a bit more background to the company. Who are the individuals? Well, there's João Felipe Fernandes Severino. As it says here, he's been working with clients since 2007 with a strong track record. He's created over 100 of these expert advisors or robots in the past 20 years. Part of his team is Ralph Gold. Ralph heads up and manages the programming and the trading side. He's an expert trader and adjusts the programming accordingly. And as it says, has managed and traded for numerous VIP clients over the past 3 years, producing results consistently and providing them a great return of investment. Horst Ditcher. Well, Horst is a cracking individual, has a massive amount of experience in business development, taking companies from small outfits to floating them and going PLC. And I think he's done that 4 or 5 times over. And let me tell you, none of these guys are in this and need to be in this for financial gain. I think their backgrounds have ensured that they are all very financially stable. And one thing you'll notice within the business is the fact that there is no monthly fee. And let me tell you, with the hundreds of thousands of people coming in, it would be so simple for them to put a monthly fee in of around $9.99 or $29.99 and be making an absolute fortune. The big win here is, and the guys realized very early on, that it can give the wrong impression. That doesn't exist and they don't need it. Mike Kiefer at the bottom, last but by no means least. Mike is the company ambassador, has a huge amount of experience in building network marketing teams around the world and works incredibly hard. He's in the UK, he's in the Philippines 1 minute, in supporting people through the networking route, attending live events around the world. And those of you that are going to qualify for Mallorca in October, which we'll talk to you about very shortly, will get an opportunity of meeting Mike there. So welcome to the cryptocurrency world of USI Tech and Bitcoin. So what is cryptocurrency? Well, it's a digital currency which with encryption techniques are used to regulate and generate units of currency and verify transfer of funds operating independently from central banks. And it is the world's most recognized value cryptocurrency. Now, it was started or invented, if you want a better word, in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto when he released as open source software in 2009. I'm not going to go through various transactions, but let me just tell you that 10,000 Bitcoin at one time, as you see on the screen, would have bought you a pizza. Now, well, it's millions. So such is the movement of Bitcoin, the traction behind it and the momentum, as everybody is not only getting on board with the currency, but getting on board with the blockchain technology that is behind it.
That would have hit almost 3 million, actually, 30 million, sorry, this week because Bitcoin went to touched on $3,000. Lee.
Ouch. 30 million. Yeah. Poor guy. Cry in your milk time. And as it says at the bottom, what is the future of Bitcoin? Well, this is probably the biggest question. I mean, all the specialists and the experts in the financial sector said that Bitcoin might hit 2,000 by Christmas of 2017. It smashed through it in end of May. And now the question is, where is it going to be at Christmas 2017 in 6-7 months' time? Is it going to be 2,000, 4,000, 5,000? And as you see at the bottom, some people are saying that it could hit $500,000 to $1 million within 10 years. So that's not us saying it. That's what the experts are saying it. People like Richard Branson, and you've got Bill Gates here, and Ben Bernanke. So the general consensus, and these guys know what they're talking about, is that Bitcoin is going nowhere. The corporate world is getting on board with it. The industries, the governments are adopting the blockchain technology. And it's that, to a certain extent, that is driving it, combined with the fact that there is a limited supply and more people that buy it. It's a supply and demand market, and the value gets pushed up, and that is what is pushing it. Please don't sit there and think you've missed the boat. You haven't. It is moving. It's moving fast, as John's just said. It's touched on just shy of $3,000, an all-time high in the last few days. But just look at where people believe it's going to go. And we've got people coming in with hundreds of thousands of dollars to get on board now and to allow USI Tech to do what they do, which is, rather than leaving your Bitcoin and just letting it appreciate in value, letting these guys work it for you.
Let me just tell you, Lee, if I can just interrupt there. On Monday, we was with a Bitcoin specialist who advises government officials on cryptocurrency. And his best guess within the next 5 years was that one Bitcoin could actually go to $50,000. Okay, so for people that don't know too much about cryptocurrency, as Lee said, go and check it out on the internet for yourself. There's some leading market analysis done on there from people you will recognise in the finance sector, and they're all predicting Bitcoin prices. But this guy, I've got to tell you, Lee, what he didn't know about cryptocurrency wasn't worth knowing. And his prediction, in the next 5 years, he can see Bitcoin going to $50,000 per Bitcoin.
You probably can't see me now because I'm sharing my screen, but I'm smiling. So if people are wondering what the connection is and why we're doing this, it is quite simply to be in possession of as many Bitcoin as we possibly can, because of that very reason. We know where it's going. Well, we don't know where it's going. We know the direction it's going in, and we want to own as many as we can. So that's amazing, John. And I know the guy, not know him personally, but I know the meeting that took place, etc. So it's great to hear it coming from somebody of that credibility. So the value of crypto, as we said, is increasing rapidly. We've seen over 300% this year. They're talking about 400%. I mean, these are all ridiculous figures because Bitcoin keeps smashing through them. We've seen over 70% in May. I think we're way up on that already in June. I mean, it just keeps going. And I just don't see it stopping down. It may slow down, but it's not going to go in the other direction. It may be volatile. What you will find is that it moves, it's volatile, but if it does drop in the other direction, it bounces back. So it's something that you need to be paying attention to. Now, you'll see here ATM machines. These are springing up now worldwide. More and more of these organizations are taking Bitcoin on board as means for even people to pay for things in cafes and restaurants and bars. We're starting to take it. I have an offline hot tub retail store. We're now accepting Bitcoin in there. It is going to be widely accepted around the world, like MasterCard, Visa. It will become a normal currency, probably within the 6 months, be traded in that way. And you're going to see these machines everywhere. So let's look at the Bitcoin product within USI. That's what you're here to take a look at. And you have the possibility to participate on the profit and the mining and trading of Bitcoin itself. So how does it work? Well, you can purchase one Bitcoin package in Bitcoin, which is equivalent to 50 euros. What USI have done is, rather than you having to find one Bitcoin, as we've just mentioned, at around $3,000, they break it down into packages for you at 50 euro lumps. And you receive around approximately, and it varies every day, 1% per working day. There is no trading at weekends or the bank holidays, national holidays, for roughly 140 days. So each package you buy, quick recap, 50 euros plus a €4 mining fee or package fee. It runs for around 140 days, and you'll generate a complete return of capital. That means a return of your initial capital, the 50 euros, and profits attached to that, which will equate to around 140%. So how are the packages traded? Well, they're traded in a variety of methods and are adjusted daily to suit the market conditions. Obviously, things change in the market, so you don't say, well, we're just going to altcoin mine these packages every day if that isn't the most profitable way of doing so. There's partnership mining, arbitrage trading, and large movement trading. What that basically means is trading the dollar against the Bitcoin or the Swiss franc against the Bitcoin, and so on. So it's wherever the markets look that there is some scope to make profit within, USI adjust the trading patterns of your packages to suit. So transparency is going to be added, and not only because at the moment there is nothing, let me tell you, nothing globally for Bitcoin where you can see how your Bitcoin packages or your Bitcoins are being traded. You're just basically putting them into a business and a company, this happens to be USI Tech, and letting them go to work for you. But without me giving away too much, USI Tech would love to be in a position where they can show us a visible platform and give us complete transparency. If I could talk, complete transparency.
I'll just say on that point, Lee,
Yeah.
if I may, that my understanding is that the company will have something that they can show us within the next sort of 3 weeks. That's coming very, very soon. It might not be on all areas of where the Bitcoin is used on all the different, but I think it's going to be on the arbitrage side. There'll be complete transparency on there, which is really part of their biggest part of that package.
And I'm pleased you mentioned that, John, because I've backed away from saying too much for fear of revealing too much too soon. But what I want to add to that, as John's mentioned that, is that you imagine the interest that there is going to be in USI Tech. So if you're getting into this business or you're tuned in or already in this business, when they launch this, this will be the first time ever that such a platform has been available. It is going to rock the industry. And I can tell you categorically that when that happens and word gets out, it is going to flood out. It is already, but just multiply that by 3, 5, 10 times, because suddenly people are going to have visibility, as they do by trading Forex, currencies, stock, shares, etc., as to what is going on and how their portfolio of Bitcoin packages can be traded. And it's going to make a massive difference to the industry. So here's an example. If you bought 20 Bitcoin packages, as we said, they're 50 euros. That will be 1,000 euros. Your runtime that they will be trading those packages for you is 140 working days approximately. The return of capital after 140 working days would therefore be 1,400 euros. And please note that that is without any movement on the price of Bitcoin. We're assuming that that remains static from the point that you bought your packages to when you're taking it out. And that's very unlikely to be the case. If it moves, then of course you are paid out. And here's the big win. You're not paid out in euro, you're paid out in Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin has moved, then of course you're making more money due to that. This is a reminder to tell us that really there are no package limits now. When the company was in pre-launch back in March and wanting to make sure that everything, the software and the trading results were spot on, they limited the number of packages that you could buy to these that you see on the screen. And my understanding, and John will correct me, I'm sure, is that now those limits have been removed. I believe there's still a monthly in there. But other than that, I think everything else has been removed. Would that be correct, John?
Everything's been removed, yeah. I mean, it just shows you how diligent the board are to make sure that they can deliver on what they came out with. And when they were confident that they could, those limits got removed. So yeah, good news.
Yeah, outstanding. So what does that give you? How do you get your money out? What can you do with your money, etc.? So let me go through it. Every day you're going to get a daily payment for the return of capital. So you're getting back your initial amount you put in. That's a great thing, because some people say, well, what's the risk? Well, there's always risk, but it's great to know that you're getting your capital, initial capital, back as well as profit. Daily withdrawals, which means that you can withdraw every day, providing you have more than 10 euros in your account, both your daily returns and commissions that you may be getting for sharing this with others. Your commissions and your daily returns can also be immediately used instantly to purchase more Bitcoin packages. And that is literally at the click of a button that you have in your back office. So if you don't want to touch it, you want to get on with your life and you're putting your money in and the packages are trading for you, and you just want to set your account to 100% rebuy. So every time you've got 50 euros in your wallet, it buys another package for you automatically. That's how it works. And as it says, that becomes a highly profitable compounding effect. John, take us through these.
Okay, so how the compounding works, this is based on €1,000 purchase of 20 BTC packages. So that would give you a return on capital a day. We're assuming 1%. Like Lee said, it fluctuates normally between around about 0.75 and 1.25. That would give you a daily return on capital of 10 euros. So after the 5th day, you can use that automatic compounding if you put your settings to 100% repurchase and purchase one extra BTC package, which would then mean that your daily return of capital would go from 10 euros to 10.50, which means you're now going to get to the next package that much quicker. If we fast forward a year, we go to the next screen, you'll see after 260 working days, you've got 6,000 euros, 6,000 euros in there. So 6 times the amount of capital that you started with. So not only have you got the 1%, which is good enough on its own as an investment on its own, you've got 1% return of capital and the amount that they're making on the trades, etc. You've now got that compound effect that just supercharges the account. And on top of that, what I will mention is, like Lee said, if you don't go into your account, you can have this as the completely passive standalone system where you're getting a return on capital without actually having to go into your back office at all. Okay, just have a look at the profit calculator. This is the bit that got me. I mean, if you're not excited about the first 2 bits, then you know there's something wrong with you. But if you look at the back office, this is the bit that really got me and blew my mind, because in the back office of your dashboard with USI, you've got something called profit calculator. So you can actually model and calculate the profit of those packages. And you can set how many days you want to run those for, etc., etc. So this example just shows someone that comes in with 50 packages. They do they leave it and compound for 250 days, and those packages have turned into 282 packages. Now, at the time that this screen was taken, you could purchase 50 packages, which is 2,500 euros for 1.56 Bitcoin. At the end of the 250 working days, you've now got a Bitcoin value, okay, within the system of 6.8 Bitcoin, so nearly 7 Bitcoin. And we said today that, I think it was yesterday, Bitcoin actually touched on $3,000. So that would be worth just shy of $21,000, and that's from a 2,500 euro input. You know, and that doesn't include any commission. Another example: 200 packages over the same period, 250 working days. That would give you 1,147 packages. That would give you that would cost you 6.25 Bitcoin at that time, and will give you nearly 28 Bitcoin at the end of that period. So 28 again times 3, what's 54,000 euros that would give you for that's 10,000 euros input. Yeah. Now that would also give you, or it gives you a daily return of 1%. Remember, so that is 0.35 Bitcoin. Again, that would be over €1,000 per day. And then for the really, really big players, and we are seeing people, as Lee said, coming in with, you know, a considerable amount of money. So 2,000 packages cost you €100,000. At the time that this screenshot was done, that would cost you 62 Bitcoin. Over 250 working days, you've got total packages because of the compound of 11,519. That'll give you 280 BTC or Bitcoins within the system. Again, if Bitcoin is already at 3,000, by the time another year comes on, it could be at 5, but let's assume it's at 3,000. That's going to give you almost 900,000 euros, or you can take 1% per day, which is 3.5 Bitcoin, which gives you 10,500 a day euros. And that, you know, going back to the slides that Lee was talking about, and looking at the guy with the pizza, because people say, well, you know, those numbers are just too big. But look at the guy that bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin, and look where 10,000 Bitcoin is now in terms of value. That's 30 million. Okay. And just look over the last few months at the increase Bitcoin is having. So these numbers are, you know, achievable.
Yeah, and John, you know, people have got to understand that if you bought just prior to Christmas, I mean, Bitcoin was at $900. It's at nearly 3,000 now. So even if you weren't in USI and you just bought Bitcoin, you've you know, look at you've doubled, trebled your money. So that's what's going on at the moment, and that's without the trading side. So Bitcoin obviously there's nothing growing faster than it as far as growth is concerned. Everybody's is saying that because of not the coins but the blockchain technology that's being adopted globally, it is going to keep pushing, and therefore if you're not in, you need to get in.
And remember, there's countries like China, Japan that are legalizing this currency, and that's pushing it forward as well. You know, Russia, Australia, and other countries will we be following suit, Lee?
Absolutely, and I know, you know, I've been talking to people in Japan, various places that they're going absolutely nuts over it at the moment, and you've got to remember, you know, there's only so many available, so. It's something that you want to get into, get in, and we're going to explain to you what your options are. So we've talked about simply buying packages and then allowing those to be traded for you, generating a completely passive income. So tune in, prick your ears up, because here's where it gets, I was about to say starts to get interesting, even more interesting. You have a 12-level networking plan. Very simple to understand if you just follow this through, but quite simply on the right hand side, you'll see that the company, instead of spending, if you struggle to get your head around why they would do this, it's very simple. Every organization and corporation has a marketing budget. That marketing budget could be for TV, radio, whatever it may be, pay-per-click advertising, etc. My businesses have that. Every business does. But USI decided to go down the networking, the word of mouth route, and pay you guys for doing that, as opposed to paying obviously large advertising organizations. So you see level 1 here. You get 10% of everything that somebody, let's say you referred Robert comes in, buys €1,000 of packages, you would receive €100 instantly in your back office for you to either withdraw or to spend on more packages. Company give you that completely free of charge, no qualifications, no monthly needed, no license. Level 1 is yours. So there's absolutely, and I've been speaking to many people this week who are particularly strapped for cash at the moment, but they know that they can share this with a lot of people. So what they're doing is they're doing exactly that. They've joined, got registered, opened their free account, started sharing with other people, and receiving 10% from what those people have come in with, and subsequently then have put that money into their trading. The company, in addition to that, give you level 2 as well. So you bring Robert in, and then Robert brings Peter in. Now, Robert's going to get 10% from Peter, but you're going to get 3% as well from his second level. So you are entitled to 2 levels free of charge. But thereafter, you've got levels 3 to 12 and levels 3 to 8 continue to pay you 3%. So again, if you're struggling what those levels are, Robert brings in Peter. Peter then brings in Jane. Jane brings Michael. Michael, James. James brings Ron in. Those are all linked. They're on uni level. Everybody is linked to one another, and you're entitled to 3% right the way down to level 8 and 1% thereafter to level 12. And let me tell you, that is huge. And if you think, and you've been in a multi-level marketing or networking business before, and you think, well, yeah, that's a matrix. It's a 3x3 matrix. We've always talked about levels and they're not filling. I can tell you I'm filling level 8 at the moment. John, where have you got people?
Oh, God, Lee, level 27. Remember, it's a compressed matrix as well. So we've gone well past the 12 levels. But if they're not qualified, Lee, and it's worth noting to the guys that, you know, it works on a compressed basis, which means it will reach down 12 levels. So we can get paid on level, you know, 16, 20, 27, if the people above us haven't qualified. So it's a very, very fair matrix like that. It will reach down and pull those levels up through the matrix. But yeah, I mean, it's growing so fast that, you know, the capacity of the, and I know that people have had a few issues with, or said, because the site went down the other day, they did tell us that they were going to actually do some upgrades on the site because there's so many people coming in. So they're improving the site all the time. You know, they are increasing server capacity. I'm just throwing that in there, Lee, because there's so many people coming in asking why the site went down the other day. What people have got to understand is that there's so many people coming into this, you know, that they are having to upgrade server capacity all the time. I've just had that come through as a question. So sorry, I cut across the compensation plan, but getting back to that, yes, we're on level 27, it goes down and compresses. So if, you know, it will pull that commission up. So you will always get paid on 12 levels.
Yeah, and I think what you need to understand is that, and as we show you this, you know, you're getting 10%. And let me emphasize again, that isn't just 10%. You recommend Robert to join and you get 10%. Let's say Robert comes in with his €1,000. You get €100 instantly, but Robert's then going to set his account to compound. You get 10% of his account for life. That means as he compounds his account and he buys more and more packages, and then maybe he looks at it and thinks, wow, I'm going to put some more money in, you get another 10% and 10%, and it just continues to go. And that's the same with level 2 and right the way down to level 12. It's all for life. It's all factored in, the numbers stack, but levels 3 to 12, you have to qualify, and here's how you do it. You either need to buy an agency license and have 3 direct partners with a minimum of 12 Bitcoin packages. My advice is look at the next one, which is purchase your Forex license. They're the same price, but the difference with the second one, the Forex license, is it's a lifetime license, whereas the agency license is only for 12 months. So therefore, there's not a great deal of logic to that. And once you've got your Forex license, let me tell you, you're going to want to diversify when you start to generate returns and move your money into that anyway, because that whole structure and software is outstanding. But back to this, you buy your Forex license and you find 3 people that do the same. You are then qualified for 12 levels deep. Or what a lot of people are doing is you buy your Forex license and then you find 3 people that you bring in, your direct partners, that buy a minimum and maintain a minimum of 12 Bitcoin packages, in other words, €600. You are then also qualified. So the company have given you 3 ways to open up levels 3 to 12.
Can I just clarify that Forex license, Lee? Because the Forex license, when you purchase that, that is a lifetime license just for the Forex, but it also grandfathers across to the BTC that gives you 12 months license, okay? So the Forex license, once you purchase that, whether you're going to trade day one or you're going to trade in 6 months' time when you've earned some money from the BTC or whatever it is, it's worth getting that license because it's a lifetime license, and there will be a finite number of those FX licenses that are going to be available. We're nowhere near it at the moment, but there will be. So my advice would be to buy your Forex license. It grandfathers across to the BTC, and you then get 12 months on the BTC. Now, you're only going to renew the BTC license, the BTC license, if you're earning commissions more than 2 levels deep, which you will be doing. So you will get commission again every time people renew that license as well. People have missed that, and that's a hell of a lot of residual money that you're building up again when people have to go back in and purchase that license, because it is for 12 months. I hope that's a bit clearer.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely great. So what does it look like in your back office? Well, if you're not familiar with a 3x3 matrix, it's very simple. It's multiples of 3 going down 12 levels. If you look at the screen on the right, you've got me at the top, then my first 3, Mike, Claire, and Pete, and underneath that, there are 9 people. Underneath that, 27, then 81, 243. There's about 266,000 people, if you do the maths, 3x3, 12 levels deep, that can fill your matrix up. And you'll see on there are different colors which depicting how those people have got there. Now, I was going through the back office with somebody this morning, one of my team members, and we were trying to find a free slot, and it was quite amusing because as we were logging in, we were finding more and more spillover. People aren't going anywhere in this business. There is no monthly fee. Even if there was, they're still making money. They wouldn't be going anywhere, but there is no monthly fee. There's no product to pay for each month. There's no subscriptions to pay, and they're making money. So they're joining. They're opening their free account. They're watching what's going on. They're getting started, and they are going nowhere. So the matrix is filling rapidly. So if you look at the different colors, we've got direct people that I've bought in myself. So you look at Mike and Claire on my first level. I would have received 10% of everything they bought. And if they bought a license, I would have received 20% of that. So I would have got 120 euros from their 600 euro license. Pete on the right is spillover. John has put him in underneath me from above. He sat there, but I don't, because I actually haven't placed him myself. John would benefit from Pete being in there, 10%, but he's not on my uni level. He's being put in by John above me. He's not connected to me in any way going down. But then if you look at AJ, he's another direct person that I've put in on my next level. And then we've got Lee, Sue, Sam, and Tom in purple. Now, they've been put in by Mike and Claire. Now, I am entitled to payments from them. I get 3% from Lee, Sue, Sam, and Tom because they are effectively on my level 2. I bought in Claire and Mike. Mike and Claire bought in Lee, Sue, Sam, and Tom, what we call spill under, and therefore I get 3% from them. And so on down the line, 12 levels once you are qualified. Anything you wanted to add to that, John?
Yeah, I just want to add that with Pete on the spillover, like Lee said, you won't receive any commissions from the BTC side, but you still will receive commissions if Pete buys a license. And also, you'll still receive commissions from Pete if he buys a license and starts trading the FX side as well, which we're seeing people diversify into that market all the time. So you'll still get license. If he buys a license fee, you will still, even though you didn't bring him into the business on the BTC side, you will still receive that 120 euro.
It's a great point. I always forget to mention that. And it's very relevant because we are advising everybody as just a decent strategy to diversify. It's great practice. And when you see what's going on the Forex side, you're going to want to be involved with that. And bearing in mind, you've got to get a license anyway. If you want your 12 levels open up, you might as well get the Forex license. It's the same price. Then when you see what that's doing, you're going to want to be involved in that. It's very simple. So let's look at the back office. Well, I'm not going to dwell on this too much because your sponsor, your referrer can take you through their back office, do a screen share and show you. But you'll see that there is active packages in the blue box on the bottom left. Your commissions, so when I say commissions, your return of capital is to the right in available balance. So as your trading packages generate a return for you, so that money ends up there. And if you're set to auto rebuy, it will take the money from there and buy more packages. If you're not, you can do that manually, and it's a good idea sometimes to do it manually through the day as the accounts start to get very busy. Otherwise, you're waiting for the website to refresh itself at the end of each day before you're buying packages. You can actually switch that on and off to do that manually as you go through. Above that, top left, registered members, numbers of people that are in the group. This is an old slide. Then you've got income to the right of that, which just shows you what the commissions that you've received per week. So if somebody's bought a license, for example, for 600 euros, you'd have 120 euros sitting in there, and that's paid weekly into your back office. You can then either use that to buy packages or you can withdraw it, and so on. So let's talk about incentives, the fun bit. This was outstanding. I mean, the great thing about this is it's got everybody focused, and I love incentives. I'm very easily bribed. And the company have basically said that if you get to and maintain 2,000 Bitcoin packages, and I'll break that down for you in a moment with terms and conditions, then they will pay 800 euros per month as a car bonus for life. So providing you're maintaining 2,000 packages in your business, and your business, and you're still growing that from that point forward, you would receive 800 euros every month towards a car. Or I think they've been a little bit more flexible on that, but I'm not going to open the doors for that. But I think you'll find that you can, I think the terms and conditions even state now that there doesn't necessarily need to be proof of purchase on the car. So in other words, you've got an extra 800 euros coming in. If you get to 5,000 Bitcoin packages, which I know a few have already done, then you've got 1,600 euros a month, so twice the above amount. Now, you must understand that you can't just come in and buy 100,000 euros of packages and expect the car bonus. It has to be made up of 50% of rebuy commission. So in other words, packages that you've been trading and that generate half of that. So there is no way of being able to manipulate that. You've got to get your money into your packages, let the packages trade, and then of course you can use your commissions coming inward for that, together with any money that you wish to purchase your packages with from the outset or ongoing, and you need to keep a good 50-50 balance in that.
Can I just actually, the understanding is on that, and we had that question today actually, because it's not 100% clear. It's a minimum, if you have a look, it's a minimum of 50% on the rebuy on the commissions, okay? Because what they're looking to do is reward people that can, you know, bring people into USI Tech. That's what these incentives are all about, is working the company and bringing additional people in. So what they don't want, though, is someone to come in with 100,000, as we're seeing people doing, and then automatically qualify for the car. It's about sharing it and getting other people in. So actually a minimum of 50% through your rebuy commission, okay?
Great. And yeah, crystal clear. I mean, that makes it very simple. But let me tell you, if you're sitting there and wondering how on earth you're going to do that, it really isn't that difficult. Now, let me qualify that. You know, it's not going to happen if you do nothing. It takes effort. It takes a desire to grow your business. And if you're wanting to get on board and you want to share this with other people, then we've got all the tools to help you with that. But there is going to be an awful lot of people. I know in John's team, my team going down, I sit directly underneath John, that will be achieving that within a very reasonable period of time. My target is Christmas. And that's my focus. Come hell or high water, it will be done. And I will ensure that I do the right amount of marketing to attract people to the business. And, you know, since I think, you know, give you an idea of how our marketing is working, I've had probably 48, 50 people that have joined my business personally since the 1st of June in the last 7 days. So that's how easy it is to start to grow your business very quickly. And most of that is just purely coming from the marketing that we're doing. In addition to that, we have a beautiful opportunity to go to the island of Mallorca between the 5th and the 8th of October. And the company are going to look after us whilst we're there, all hotel expenses, food, drinks, etc. All we've got to do is get there. But the flights out of the US at the moment are ridiculously cheap, I can tell you, to getting into Mallorca, which is fantastic. it's only something like $400-500. It's crazy. The competitive airline industry at the moment is really sharpening things up. And there are two ways of, well, not two ways, there's one way of qualifying.
I take it you bought the tickets then, Lee?
I have, John. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I haven't hit my qualification yet, but that will be done. Don't worry about that. That's a minor detail. Yes, the flights are booked, so that's done. Looking forward to meeting up with everybody and a lot of my team that are going to be there as well. All you need is between yourself and your direct people, you need 100 Bitcoin packages. Some people are coming in with that in one go. But just between you and your immediate referrals, 100 Bitcoin packages. And then from everybody else down the line, it needs to make up 1,500 Bitcoin packages. Again, not that difficult. If you break it down into small 50 package lumps, you need around 30 of those to get back up to that. So it happens very, very quickly. I can remember looking back at my chart. If you go in your back office, you'll see a sliding scale on your dashboard for Mallorca incentive. And I remember looking there and there was 3 and 3. I'm thinking, well, that's going to be a way off. And I'm almost there. And that's just been in a matter of a few weeks. So it doesn't take very long to get you there. So if that would interest you, has anything been brought up, John, about partners going on this?
I don't think it's partners, but I will double check for you, but I'm not sure, but I don't think it is. What I would say though, with all these incentives, Lee, and you've been in other businesses where they've come out with these fantastic incentives as USI have, and they're never achievable. Well, these are very achievable. It's not about, are they achievable? It's about when are you going to achieve it? So it's a matter of time. Obviously, there's a time restraint on this event, the Mallorca one, but the car incentives, it's just, a matter of time before you hit those incentives. So they're really achievable incentives rather than just putting, incentives up there that no one's ever going to make.
Yeah, very true. And many of my team that come in and started from the ground up, didn't know much about marketing, didn't know much about how to get people to look at the websites, have now taken on board all the things that we've put in place, direct meeting strategies, all sorts of things like that, and we'll smash through these targets. And suddenly, you've only got to put your toe in the water, buy a few packages, start to see what happens, talk to a couple of people. And they're very receptive at the moment because everybody is talking about Bitcoin. And it's, oh, you're in Bitcoin, are you? Would you mind showing me how that works? And suddenly it starts to spread. I've had people telling me that they have no intention of sharing this with anybody. And then they've mentioned it to their accountant, who's then told 25 of his clients who are now all in. So that's how it is going, to give you an idea. So that's pretty much it. We're rattling on time-wise. I'm very conscious of that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. John, how are we doing on questions? Can you see anything on your side?
Grant's been busy answering them, Lee, but the bit that I badly tried to explain was that people this week have been panicking because the website has gone down for maintenance. I mean, it's just, I think to be fair to some of these people, if you're new to network marketing, and you come from a traditional business background, it probably wouldn't bother you too much at all. But, other businesses we're not going to mention, they do have problems with certain things with their websites. Now, with USI Tech, like I said before, they've had so many people coming in over such a short period of time. They've already done a server upgrade. This is the second one, to my knowledge, might even be the third server upgrade. Plus, they're trying to add the car incentive bar on it, and it's thrown some of the figures up. So rather than the site just go down, what they actually do is they then email you. You must have had an email, Lee, and say between such and such a time and such a time, the website's going to go down. Yet we still get people panicking about that. It's astonishing, really. I mean, you've got to understand how quick this thing is growing. You've got to understand even, that these servers need more and more capacity as this thing increases. And there's so many people coming into it. The amount of people coming in is going up daily. We've been, and that will continue because of the work that we're doing personally and what you're doing, Lee, over there, and the traffic that's coming in We have spent the last day in Birmingham training up 27 potential new trainers to do events across the UK every single week. Yeah. And that's going to start going live the following week. So yeah, you know, people have got to understand that there's such an influx of people coming in, and they're trying to improve the back office because they're going to be bringing in transparency that will take up even more capacity. So there will be times when the system goes down, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and it's the norm. You know, I'm working obviously with website design for our teams and so on. We've already had to increase our server capacity because of the number of people that are now using the sales funnels. It's just the way it is. You can't, I'm just trying to think of a really good analogy for you, but it's difficult. You know, you just can't, your Wi-Fi is probably not a bad example. Try your Wi-Fi. When you're using your Wi-Fi at home and there's just you on it, and then you've got 7 people using your Wi-Fi at the same time in a party, or you get some friends around and everybody's on it, it slows down. And it's a problem. You can't allow that to happen when you are in the business world. And you try and multiply that through hundreds of thousands of people coming in. And I tell you what, I think it is outstanding that these guys take the time and trouble that when you log on, a message pops up and tells you that there's going to be maintenance coming later at this time between these hours. And then they'll even give you a further update. We haven't finished the maintenance. We're going to be another 2 hours, so we apologize for any inconvenience. I tell you, that in itself should be all you need to know about USI, because that doesn't happen anywhere else. I mean, it's just so rare. And that's the company that we are in here. They tell you there's going to be a problem. You don't log on and what the hell's going on. You know it. I posted it in the Facebook group yesterday, and then somebody said to me, well, what's that all about? Well, it's not what is it all about? We've told you what it's about. The website's going to be shut down for maintenance for 2 hours or 4 hours or whatever it may be. So unfortunately, you can't please everybody. That's just the way of the world. But don't panic. Take a breath. Go for a walk. Cook your meal. Go for a beer, relax. It'll be up when they say it's going to be up.
It's called growth, Lee. It's called growth. That's what it's called.
I felt a rank coming on, John. Anyway, John, you touched on what's going on in the UK, meetings-wise. I'll just pick up the same here. Watch this space. It won't be for 2 to 3 weeks, but there will be a series of events announced for the US here, initially West Coast. There'll be dates in the diary for August for West Coast and East Coast, possibly something centrally as well. John is leading the way, I can tell you, in a phenomenal direction. If any of you watching want to do these events, want to be involved with me, want to be involved with John, then we are looking for key individuals to assist us, to present. The rewards will be there, certainly the way that we're going to be structuring things here for you. If you want to do it yourself and you want support from others, there's nothing to stop you putting meetings together, but please just make sure that you are compliant, that you talk to me first or John, you have the information, but it is critical that that information is portrayed and imparted on other people in the right way. You cannot mislead people. If you do, your accounts will be closed. It is as simple as that. Non-compliance will not be tolerated under any circumstances, and I don't mean that to sound harsh, but you have to give the facts correctly. But we would love to help you, love to make sure that you're trained. As John said, they've spent probably 2 days just training people to present the USI tech opportunity and making sure they give that information in the right way.
That's right. And those people, that's a very good point. We want to make sure it's a uniformed approach, that the right information is going out. And those people have to go through a sign-off process. And, until we're comfortable that they can present it and in the right way and be factually correct, then they won't get signed off. They know that. That's fine. There's no problem. We want to make sure that we're going out in a professional manner and with a uniform approach, so everybody's getting the right information. We've seen before on other things where people are saying things that just simply are factually incorrect. So we want to avoid that and make sure we have a uniform approach. And yeah, if you're interested in doing events and what have you, then please, contact us, and we will point you in the right direction, whether it's within our team or outside our team or whatever. We're happy to point you in the right direction.
We're coming up to the hour mark. I think my parting thought is one of trying to be level-headed. I can tell you that I have not seen growth like this in a company before. And I think the reason for that is that people realize very, very quickly that I think there's an element of we happen to be in the right place at the right time. We're talking about Bitcoin. It is the word at the moment. You look at the news, radio, TV, everybody is talking about it. Everybody is waking up because of the publicity, because of the growth, because of the technology. And what I can tell you is that I've got my team members coming to me who've been in 2 or 3 days saying, I can't believe the reaction I'm getting when I just say to somebody, this is what I'm doing. There's no explanation in detail selling. They just want to take a look. They're interested in looking at Bitcoin. So please, if you're sitting on the outside at the moment, you don't have an account, get back to the person that invited you to look at this live hangout today. Talk to them, find out what you need to do. It costs you nothing to get started. If you're on our web pages, beneath you is a button now. That button will take you through to the very person that invited you here. Click that free account button now and get registered. It's free. You can sit, you can watch the number of people coming in underneath you. You can then wish that you had your Forex license and were getting paid from them. But it's simple. Even if you don't have money to get started straight away, you can share this with other people. Come and take a look at USI Tech. Let me show you what's going on. Let me get my sponsor involved, and he and I will show you what's going on. And they'll pay you 10% today of everything they start with. And as John has said, we've got people buying 2 packages for 100 euros. We've got people buying 100,000 euros of packages. And let me tell you about global marketing. We are marketing in Australia, Canada, the UK, the US. When you dominate marketing, and I'm not going to be specific on where we're marketing, but when you dominate marketing like that, and you're number one in search engines and various things like that, you don't know who is coming to you from where. All they're searching for is Bitcoin trading and investments. You don't know whether they've got $100 that they want to put in or $1 million that they want to put in. Just think what one of those people, and they're coming in and day out, will do for your business when you're getting 10% of everything they buy initially and everything their account produces thereafter. It is colossal. There is nothing like it. And I urge you to talk to the person that invited you to look at this. Find out more about what's going on, because this is a life-changing opportunity. That's all I've got to say. John, you're going to have the last words.
Well, I think you said it all, really, Lee. I mean, it is a life-changing opportunity. I mean, and I don't say that flippantly because I don't like to over-egg things, but it is, like Lee said, the fastest growing business that we've been involved in. And we've been involved in a few online businesses, the most transparent. The owners don't hide behind the laptops. They're out there. They're happy to do calls. They go to events. They've got a tremendous background. It's a very balanced board of directors that we've got. We're fortunate to have them. And they're already, like Lee said, they're already self-sufficient in their own lives. They just breed success and want to help others. And that's a nice part of the business. And that's why we're all in it. It's not just about the money. It's about helping others achieve and change their lives, because it's very, very rewarding to do that. So as Lee said, go back to your sponsor who invited you to this call. Ask them the questions. If they haven't got the answers, then push it up the upline to ourselves. We're happy to get involved and help anybody that wants to get involved. And then once you're involved, you won't help but be able to share this with other people. Until I think next week. Are we doing next week, Lee? I think you're away, aren't you?
I am away next week. So we're going to give a break next week. We're going to do the hangout the week after. We're going to ask for an international panel. We'd like everybody on, probably 10 or 12 people from around the world. So if you're interested in being on the panel, we're not going to quiz you. We're not going to embarrass you. We'd just like to know when you got started, how you're finding it. few questions that we'd like you to share with everybody, but to give people a global feel to what is going on in USI around the world. So it won't be next Wednesday, it'll be the Wednesday after. But until then, please get started, get in, ask the great questions, and we look forward to talking to you again then. And obviously, we're here for you in the meantime. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.